Welcome to the People Project. Guest number 9, person number 9, one of my good friends, Lauren. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Dang, thank you for doing this. I'm just very excited to interview Lauren just because what she does for a living really inspires me to give back. And I just feel like there needs to be more people like her in the world so there's just a better humanity. And I just want to start off with how me and Lauren met, which is pretty funny. My ex-landlord slash now one of my really close best friends is now her roommate because he's dating one of her best friends, and now you guys are all just a good house roommate situation. And that's how I met Lauren, and me and Lauren just instantly clicked with our personalities and our attitude about life. And now we're here.
Yep.
So thank you again for doing this. And my first question for you, Lauren, is who are you? What's your demographics? How were you raised? Not how, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
And where were you born? And
yeah. Okay. I am 27, I think. Yeah. Grew up, born and raised in San Bernardino, which is about an hour and 15 minutes inland from LA.
How do you like growing up in San Bernardino?
I call it the armpit of hell. And life's fine, but not anywhere I'd ever want to go back to or live in.
Why the armpit of hell?
It's extremely hot, and just it's not super safe. There's not a lot going on out there. It's kind of it used to be a really popular place to live when the Air Force Base was open, but that closed. The economy just went down. There's not a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
But
it produced you.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it did somewhat benefits of it.
Yeah.
That's good. Did you have any passions growing up or?
Yeah, I loved to read. I did sports in high school, loved those. Loved school. I was the biggest nerd you could probably have ever met. Did the AP classes, all of that stuff. I was in a program called the California Cadet Core, which I was really passionate about. It's a leadership program that's similar to the ROTC, but actually started years before during World War I. And basically it's an after-school program, but also a class. Teaches you military skills, other leadership skills. I also learned how to survival skills in the wilderness, marching, all of that kind of stuff.
What made you get interested in that?
Yeah, so in 7th grade is when you can start the program, and it was an option to do that instead of PE.
Okay.
But I wanted to do PE and this class, and my sister told me that I wasn't tough enough to handle Cadet Corps, and I wanted to prove her wrong. So I did, and I stayed through it until I was a senior in high school and graduated. I was the highest ranking cadet in the state my senior year. Yeah, and I achieved the highest rank you can in the program.
Wow.
So just to prove my sister wrong.
And now it's one of your passions. You're
yeah, it was definitely something that really helped shape my young adult life. Gotcha. And my work ethic and those kinds of things.
Do you think that shaped you into the career that you have now? I
think it played a big part. One of the biggest things you learn is your leadership style in the program, and I learned, how to help others and kind of just being a leader is at times being someone bigger than yourself and kind of learning to put your own desires and your own needs below the people that you're supposed to be leading and helping. And so I just learned to do kind of that.
That's very cool. Like I said earlier, I think her career path right now is very cool. Can you touch upon what you do?
Sure. I am a deputy public defender for Los Angeles County.
So cool.
I have a title.
Yeah. For all those dummies out there, what do you do?
Yeah, sure. So I am a criminal defense attorney licensed in the state of California, and all of my clients are people who the court system has deemed cannot afford their own attorney.
Yeah.
And who have been charged and accused of a crime. However, they maintain their innocence until either they're convicted at trial or accept a plea deal. So I am just an attorney, basically, but all of my clients have been accused of some kind of crime. Many of my clients, if not all of them, are some either minorities, lower income, just less privileged individuals who have gone through many hardships, which all I believe play into the circumstances that they find themselves in by the time they get to me.
Yeah. What made you want to be a public defender?
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And I decided when I was in college that I wanted to make the world a better place for as many people as much as I could.
Yeah.
And so I decided that would be me being an attorney and one day maybe entering politics and doing some public policy. And so I went to law school and kind of just, you have to work during the summers. Mm-hmm. And my second year of law school that summer, I got a job at the Riverside County Public Defender's Office.
Wow.
And they offer at that program, you can be a certified law student, meaning you can represent clients, appear on the record, and do all of these kinds of lawyer things without having your license, as long as you're supervised by an attorney and your client is okay with it. So I had an opportunity in that program to appear on the record and fight for my clients and be an advocate as just a law student. And that really helped shape my perspective of being a lawyer. It wasn't just computers and books and writing. Yeah. And I loved the fact that I could talk to my clients and help them with things that nobody else had ever helped them with, or listen to their stories. And my favorite thing was just so many of my clients in Riverside and here in LA, they don't have a support system at times, or they've never had someone who said, I'm going to stand by your side and fight for you. You're not alone. And I love being that person, and I found that passion in Riverside. And so I decided through that just the public defender's office was the first job that never felt like a job. It's a gut feeling that I just knew that was where I belonged.
Wow.
And so I graduated, passed the bar, and applied for LA County. And I worked there as a law student and a law clerk, and thankfully got hired in January.
Wow. Congrats again, Lauren. I'm so friggin' excited and proud of you, to be honest. I think you already said this, but if you didn't, how did you find the Riverside program? Was it through your school?
It was through my school, but one of my best friends in law school, she did the program the summer before. It just did not stop talking about her amazing experience. And she didn't have the opportunity to be certified because you have to meet certain requirements. And so UCLA every year has a public interest law kind of career day, and they do a lot of interviews. And so I applied and had an interview there, and then they offered me the job a few weeks later.
Wow.
Lived with my parents for a summer, and then worked in Banning in the federal courtroom, or the felony courtroom at the state courthouse down there.
Gotcha. For everyone who's just entering college, do you have any recommendation on what major they should choose if they want to get into law school later?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do any major. There's not a required one for law school. I was political science, which I feel like a lot of people who want to be lawyers do political science. But you can be anything. I have many friends who did science backgrounds, psych, anything like that. I would just say the biggest thing transitioning from undergrad to law school would be you're doing a lot of reading and writing.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend something that has a heavier emphasis in that. Just it makes the transition a little bit easier.
Yeah.
When I was an undergrad, I did learn that philosophy was actually the major that had the highest scores for the LSAT, which is the entrance exam. And it's because the way that you think in a philosophy environment is similar to the LSAT environment.
Yeah.
But for success in law school, I don't think any major, just whatever you have a passion in as an undergrad, I would say follow it, embrace it, because the law schools look at your grades. Mm-hmm. And so just find something that you like, but then also law schools like to see the passion, and just do whatever that is, whether it's art, science, philosophy, history, anything.
Yeah. Going back to your career path, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Do you want to Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly see myself staying with the public defender's office for my entire career. We have many experienced attorneys who've been there for 35 years. They've never worked in another place. And especially right now, like, I love the department I am. I just do misdemeanors as a newer attorney. But I represent my clients from the arraignment to their trial to even post-conviction proceedings. One of my favorite things about my office is there's not a public defender I've ever met that I didn't like. We all have, diverse backgrounds and reasons why we love our jobs, but at the base of it, we're there for our clients, and I love that camaraderie. I love that I could walk into any office and just talk to someone, and they're there to give me advice or help me, which is anything that I need. And so eventually I'd like to move up to do felonies, which just takes time and experience in trials. And then maybe look at, we have a training program that I'm in right now, maybe working as a mentor or a trainer at some point, but for now, like, I just want to do trials.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know why you want to do trials?
Yeah, I mean, just I love litigation. This is my dream job, and I love that I'm rarely looking at a computer. It's always with people. The opportunity to be in trial and help a client who is innocent and is presumed innocent only up until the point if the jury finds that they're convicted. Standing by that person and just, enforcing the criminal justice system to be what it is and what it's supposed to be is, a bunch of safeguards in place to protect the innocence and the liberty of the person accused. And besides that, just holding the government accountable for the actions that they've done in part for my clients, and getting to talk to jurors and just learn about their different backgrounds and give them an opportunity to see what a trial in the criminal justice system is like, for better or for worse.
Yeah. Wow, Lauren. You're just such an amazing person for what you do. My last question for you, Lauren, is do you have any advice to people who are looking to be public defenders? Or, like, how would you steer them in that direction if they're trying to be public defenders?
Sure. Once you get through undergrad and you go to law school, most law schools have a lot of opportunities to work in public interest and criminal defense, and so I'd always say explore those opportunities. I was fairly late to the game. I know many of my colleagues, they've known they want to be the public defender since day one, and then others like me who just happened to find it and learn that is where they've always wanted to be. My law school, like I said, had many opportunities. A lot of public defenders' offices are always open to having law clerks, student volunteers, which I would say the best part about our job is being in court. With COVID, that's a little bit more difficult these days, but I would just say do as much as you can to get experience, because law school can only teach you so much. It's really what you see in the courtroom and from other attorneys. Always reach out to anybody, and yeah, just kind of go for it and try it out. And if you love it, then awesome, and if you find that it's not necessarily your path, then glad that you tried it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lauren, for interview number 9. That was so enlightening about what a public defender does and how to get there. If you want me to find someone in specific and the type of job that you want to go for, please let me know. Also, hit that subscribe if you want. If not, I get it. I'm getting better. We'll see. But thank you, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Anytime.